It began with the smell of stew drifting through the narrow alleys of Maplewood. A smell so rich, so inviting, that neighbors said it made them forget their worries. But behind the closed curtains of number 14, in that cramped kitchen, a widow smiled as she ladled out bowls of meat, while in her freezer, the rest of her husband waited, neatly packaged, ready for the next meal. This is not an urban legend. This is the story of Claire Monroe, and the night Maplewood's favorite hostess became its most feared monster. To most, Claire was kindness personified. 52 years old, hair always tied back, hands that smelled of cinnamon and sage. She was the neighbor who knocked on your door with a pie after your surgery, who fed the stray cats no one else cared for. Her husband, Daniel Monroe, was the opposite. Gruff, impatient, a man who measured love in money and loyalty in silence. Behind the closed doors of their marriage was a brewing storm, arguments over money, whispers of infidelity, and a debt neither could repay. But nobody knew just how close they were to a violent breaking point. It started small. Neighbors heard muffled shouting late into the night. Claire stopped attending church, claiming she was under the weather. Daniel's truck never left the driveway, but no one saw him. Then came the changes in her shopping habits. Bags of spices, gallons of stock, bulk meat orders no one could explain. She told Mrs. Hargrove next door, "Daniel's on a special diet, but the bags are going into the house." And the locked freezer in the basement spoke of something else entirely. Claire's version of that night is as chilling as it is clinical. She says Daniel came home drunk, angrier than usual. He accused her of plotting against him, of hiding money. He lunged. She grabbed the nearest thing within reach, a heavy cast-iron skillet. One blow, then another, and Daniel Monroe stopped moving. In that frozen moment, she could have called the police. Instead, she filled a stock pot with water and began to boil. What happened next feels like a descent into another world, one where morality is gone, replaced by cold calculation. She dismembered the body over hours, working methodically. The choicest cuts went into airtight containers. The bones simmered into broth. By morning, the house smelled of stew so rich, you'd never guess its true origin. The next week, Claire hosted what neighbors later called the most delicious block party in years. Her secret ingredient? The man she'd once vowed to love until death. But in Maplewood, secrets don't stay buried or boiled forever. The investigation began when a postal worker reported Daniel missing. Detective Arthur Marlow, assigned to the case, noticed inconsistencies in Claire's answers. She claimed Daniel had taken a construction job out of state. Yet his wallet, ID, and truck remained in the garage. A search warrant turned Maplewood's gossip into horror. In her basement freezer, labeled jars of broth, vacuum-sealed packages, all DNA confirmed to be Daniel Monroe. And in a box by the stove, his wedding ring. In the interrogation room, Claire's voice was steady. "I didn't waste good meat," she told detectives. She admitted serving him to neighbors, claiming she was sharing what he never shared with me, generosity. There was no tremor in her tone, no flicker of regret in her eyes. Claire Monroe was sentenced to life without parole. Her house was torn down, the lot left empty, too stained for new foundations. The block parties stopped. And in Maplewood, the smell of stew is no longer a comfort. It's a warning. This was not an act of sudden madness, but a chilling choice, one that blurred the line between survival, revenge, and the grotesque. Would you have noticed the danger, or just asked for seconds?